The backlash towards PlayStation discontinuing physical sales will keep on going as long as it can, and many have asked the important question, will they bring them back? Well, let's put it this way. If you drive drunk, crashed your car, and suffer massive injuries everywhere, when are you going back to work? Exactly. Go ask Sony when their financial health is going to come back to normal, and only then, and even then, maybe they'll bring back physical. And that creates this interesting monkey's paw scenario. Physical copies are back at the cost of PlayStation becoming successful, which is bad news for anyone who doesn't like the company for perfectly justifiable reasons. But personally, PlayStation becoming successful in the future is not without reasons. And the most likely reason is for them to actually make genuinely good products that sell incredibly well, that are beneficial for the consumers. It's almost like a company's success is correlated pretty well with consumer satisfaction. And considering the state of Sony right now, it's safe to say that the customers are not happy even way before they stop doing physical discs. I certainly cannot wait for the time when PlayStation makes a product so good that it makes people to desperately want it. But that time is clearly not now. Not when I'm selling my PlayStation stuff and getting lowball offers left and right. Being a reseller of goods on Facebook Marketplace lead to some interesting experiences. A buyer decided to buy this incredible bundle of PlayStation 4 games for the price of 750,000 rupiah, which is about $41. 8 games for that price? What a steal, right? What an incredible deal, right? That is, until the last minute, and he cheaped out. He couldn't afford another 50k or $3, and I do not accept that. I took out Persona 5 and FIFA 18 out of that bundle. You do not just cop out of a deal like that in the last minute. This person just lost a copy of Persona 5 and FIFA 18 because he couldn't pay $3. Granted, FIFA 18 is a worthless freebie at this point, but Persona 5 Original? It's still a fantastic game that is worth way more than $3. It's one of the best games of the 2010s that takes 60 hours at least to finish. At $3, Persona 5 alone is a steal, and this guy just lost the deal of the century, with me still having the copy of its game in my hands. It's no surprise that many PlayStation gamers are unhappy with where PlayStation is heading with their all-digital future. This PlayStation gamer sold a lot of stuff while moving to PC. These are Square Enix games that are already on PC anyway, but what I think is a massive blunder is selling the DualSense. Don't do that. You can still use that on PC, and even on the Switch, if you have the right adapter. Sells PlayStation cause it only does digital, still plays on Steam. Yes, Steam is a digital-only platform, but that only makes it equal to PlayStation in terms of game distribution. It is not equal in terms of everything else, like online multiplayer, game backups, discounts, games, everything else really. Consoles get jailbroken and games archived all the time. You're right, they do. It's a shame that Sony patch up the jailbreak and make it harder for every new firmware version. It's almost like they don't like piracy and people actually owning their games. There's a good reason why the Sony piracy market is actually accelerating. And the emulators? Well, they're getting better and better. This isn't an argument for PC, it's one for piracy, and yes, that exists on both. They do, but only one platform is easier to pirate games than the other, so this isn't exactly a competition. Claiming that you won't play without physical, then saying you're sticking to the oldest digital-only platform is comical, and people are right to laugh at you for it. No, it makes perfect sense actually, because as she said, you're only looking at it through a digital versus digital distribution perspective, and not, the overall platform benefits perspective. And Steam has way more than PlayStation in that department. Speaking of used goods and choosing beggars, we have this choosing beggar for used goods. Beggars can never be choosers, and this beggar is definitely begging. This person wants a $20,000 used piano, the Steinway & Sons Model K52, for $5,000. That is quite literally 25% of the price. What an insane lowball that is. But it gets worse. This choosing beggar begs for a 75% price reduction by parading their daughter. Aw, your daughter wants to learn piano. Get yourself a Yamaha or a Casio for 100 or 200 bucks, dude. Why are you looking for a $20,000 piano as a beginner? I will report you to Craigslist. For what? Offering a reasonable price? You are a Whoa, okay, someone is really pissed. Sorry, but you're gonna have to fill that wallet some more. Selling used goods are the only things that people can do to survive in this economy. Other than that, there's also work, and how it's really hard to get one with annoying HR departments. If workplaces demand professionalism from their employees, then they themselves have to be professionals. This Indonesian future employee waited for 31 minutes on a Google Meet, and no one from the HR team arrived. I am sending this message as proof of my commitment here, even though my commitment was misused by HR. And you wonder why people hate the HR department in many companies. People have limited times, and they don't want their time to be wasted. They do want their time to be properly utilized to make money. I hope the recruitment team understands that not all candidates, especially those from Gen Z, are lazy, uncommitted, and easily angered. Funny that you say this, because there's a good chance that the HR team are filled with Gen Z as well, and them doing this to you absolutely proves the Gen Z stereotype. This is the reason why finding jobs in current year, especially in Indonesia, is incredibly difficult without connections and nepotism. That seems to be the only legitimate way people get jobs these days, without having to deal with undisciplined HR. Our most talented workers are working out of the country. I'm literally doing it right now with this video, earning as much dollars as I can and surviving as much as I can. And even then, I still have to work all sorts of jobs. Moving on from workplace shenanigans, we have some interesting relationship hooplas. This is an interesting series of posts that was on Instagram. What if God sent someone who isn't exactly your type? Let's be honest here. People's type is an absolute fantasy. It is incredibly difficult to find someone that is both your type and is genuinely interested in you. God doesn't send someone who isn't your type. God doesn't send someone to you in particular. God just makes people as who they are, not to cater specifically to you. And you gotta deal with it. In my list, he only checked one physical trait box: fit body, but beyond the looks, you just told everyone in public that your partner is physically unattractive to you. You're an adult, and you're still too socially inept to recognize what a backhanded compliment this is. If my partner makes this whole post about me, I'll let her leave it. Why? Because I can just flip it around in another post and tell everyone, hey, my partner may find me unattractive, and I still got her. Thank you, God. And don't ever lose hope, brothers. Many said character is harder to find than good looks. Looks change, characters last. Deep down in my heart, I knew that was true, but honestly, I couldn't look past the physical attraction. I'm glad that you just admitted to the world that you are incredibly superfluous, and you let physical attraction affect you this much. I further sought wise counsel, some wise words from my married friends. It's nice to know that you tell your friends that your partner is unattractive and you couldn't get past it, but it's not exactly a loss to your partner because he still gets you. Whether it's worth to get you or not is another matter entirely, but to me, this kind of backhanded complimentary attitude in social media is perfectly manageable, with a couple of my own backhanded insults. I get people being religious, but some people are expecting way too much from it. Am I being too materialistic? Didn't God promise me someone who fits my ideals? No, he didn't. I have both Christians and Hindu families, and I don't see any of that being promised. You are getting dangerously close to saying that you are promised multiple virgins in heaven so that you can have an excuse to do all sorts of stupid or even dangerous things. It took months for me to surrender this to God. I'm glad that you found Jesus and surrendered to him, and while he may be able to forgive you for your sins, the rest of social media probably won't, and they definitely won't forget. As time passed, I stopped focusing on what he lacked physically. Instead, I saw how his character complemented mine beautifully. Good for you, lady. Remember, guys, being unattractive is not a deficit to score chicks. If this lady gets an unattractive guy, then you can definitely get one. Oh, and she has a long-winded apology to quash all the backlash. Maybe don't tell everyone that your partner is ugly, and people won't be angry at you. But hey, at least saying that your partner is physically unattractive is way better than this. This Indonesian doofus wants a woman, but not just any type of woman. Need young lady, obedient, pretty, 15 to 17 years old. Well, I think I know what to shout. Police! Help! Help! Police! Also, this guy went on to show his Dana account. Dana is one of the many digital wallets here in Indonesia. He showed that in his account, he has 4.977 million, which is about $270. Yes, this person brags that he has $277 in his bank account. I have more than that, and I'm still broke and living in tight margins. I agree with this doctor over here. Broke, pervert, and also a predator. A deadly combination. And that's all for the video today. Here's a cat. Huge thanks to all the wonderful sponsors this week. You're all fantastic. Don't forget to check out my previous videos here. Click the like button, comment, subscribe, join the YouTube membership, leave some tips, just $1 down below. And thanks for watching.